Hello friends, welcome to Medicine Hub. In the previous video, we just talked about the adrenergic, like the within the adrenergic systems, drug systems, or we can say the how the noradrenaline is being formed and what type of the drugs are there which just inhibit in the formation of the noradrenaline. Okay. Now in this video, we are going to talk about the what type of the receptors are there in the adrenergic receptors and where do they locate. First, I'll tell about the adrenergic receptor. So basically, if we just you know classify, then we will see first alpha receptors and the beta receptors. Okay, and within the alpha receptors, we will get the two types of mode receptors. There is two differentiation of it, like the alpha 1 receptors and alpha 2 receptors. And within the beta, we are having three. One is beta 1, another is beta 2, another is beta 3. Now we need to have the idea regarding the alpha 1 and alpha 2 receptor, where do they locate and what's their function out there. Okay, now if I just talk about the alpha 1 receptors, okay, the alpha 1 receptors, they basically present within the blood vessels, and within the blood vessels, their main function, whenever they will be stimulated, their main function is their vasoconstriction. So I'm writing briefly VC, that means the vasoconstriction. Okay, squeezing of the vessels, of course. Then we can say it is present within the eye, and that will cause the dilation of the pupil. Dilation of the pupil, that is known as the mydriasis. Okay, and of course they are also present within the prostatic gland, prostatic urethra. They are also present within the prostatic urethra, and they will cause the less amount of the urine outflow. Dilation, of course, they are also like this. Relaxation, of course, urine outflow, less urine outflow. Now there is a condition, so you all know it. There is a disorder that is known as the BPH. Okay, BHP, benign hyperplasia prostatic condition. In this condition, what happens? Actually, in these conditions, the patient is having the problem within the less amount of the urine outflow. Now, if we use the like the some drugs, those drugs will stimulate the alpha 1. Then ultimately the condition will be more worse, right? So we are not supposed to use the drugs like the alpha 1 stimulator drugs in case of the BHP. Okay, we will use another type of the drugs, that is like the alpha 1 blockers. Okay, we'll talk about those things in the separate videos subsequently. Okay, now if you just talk about the alpha 2 receptors, these alpha 2 receptors, they basically present within these things, like these things. For suppose if it is the like this presynaptic membrane is the postsynaptic membrane. Now within the presynaptic membrane, the alpha 2 receptors are here. Okay, that means they are present within these things. Very little amount of the alpha 2 are present in these portions, like in the postsynaptic membrane. But basically it's not that much important to know, but yet just to have the idea, we need to know this much at least, that the alpha 2 receptors, they do present where within the presynaptic membrane. Now let's talk about the beta 1, beta 2 and beta 3 receptors. Now the beta 1 receptors, that means what? 1. The single means we do have the single heart. That means the beta 1s are present within the heart. Okay. And of course within the heart they will do what? As we all know it, there's sympathetic action, so they increase the heart rate as well as they increase the blood pressure, of course. Okay, BP. Similarly, number 2 conditions, they are also present. The beta 1 receptors are also present in the juxtaglobular cells of the nephron, JG cell of nephron, N for nephron, just take it as well. Okay. Now they will do what? They will whenever they will be just stimulated, they will secrete the renin. And we all know it that whenever the secretion of the renin will be there, that will just ultimately lead to the increase of the blood pressure by the process of the renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system there. Okay. Now the beta 2 is present in many places. Okay, some of this I'm just writing it here. They are present in the lungs, within the bronchus, of course, lungs. Okay, I'll talk about beta 2 separately. And of course beta 3 is present within the adipose tissue. Is only it's present only within the adipose tissue. And what's the function of the beta 3? Their main function is here just to do the lipolysis. This is lipolysis, the breakdown of the fats of it. Okay. Okay. And one more thing regarding the beta 2, they have the function of the like these things like the vasodilation. They do also present within the blood vessel, and within the blood vessel their main function here just to cause the vasodilation. Okay, now see one thing, there is in case of alpha, there also the alpha receptors are present within the blood vessels, but they are causing the vasoconstriction. But the same thing, the beta 2 receptors are also, the beta 2 is having the capacity, they are also do present within the blood vessels, but they are causing the vasodilation. So totally opposite things. Okay, now if we just talk about whenever the sympathetic system will be activated, then what will be happen there? Okay, that means whenever the activation of the sympathetic sympathetic sensation, at the time alpha 1 is also activated as well as the beta 2 is also activated. Now we can see from here that whenever the alpha 1 and beta 2, regarding these 2 points, if I just want to say that alpha 1 and beta 2, now some of the blood vessels, those who are having more amount of the alpha 1, some of the blood vessels, those who are having the more amount of the beta 2. Now if I just talk about the alpha 1, the blood vessels, okay, I am writing briefly V in terms of the vessels with more alpha 1. With more alpha 1 ultimately do what? They will just do the vasoconstriction. But if I just talk about the blood vessels are more with more amount of the beta 2, they will just cause the vasodilation. Now if I just talk about that alpha 1 and beta 2, okay, now we have to know where the beta 2 receptors are more present, okay, and where is alpha 1. Okay, now the beta 2 in some of the places in our body, like the skeletal muscles, the vessels of the in the vessels of the skeletal muscles, okay, skeletal muscle blood vessels, as well as we are having with the coronary arteries, that means within the heart, coronary artery, that means vessels, we can say, okay, something like that. That means these things are present within the heart. Now what is the function, what is the actual purpose of saying it? First of all, in any emergency conditions, we have to go anywhere, okay, that means we need to have the more amount of the excitations. Now if we want to run, first of all, something is wrong out there, that means from any place we have to go back, we have to run very fast. Now we do need to what? We need to have the more amount of the blood vessels to the skeletal muscles, then there will be more amount of the oxygen, so you can utilize more amount of oxygen, more amount of energy, so you can go more more distance, of course. Similarly, now whenever there will be like stimulations of these two things, same thing like the sympathetic stimulation. Now within the alpha receptors, we didn't make mention of it, but I have to mention it right now, that alpha receptors, the blood vessels with the more alpha 1, that is like within the present within the skin, okay, and of course within the internal organ. Now whenever there will be like the stimulation of these two, then there will be vasoconstriction, and that means this amount of the blood that is not used, the vasoconstriction, for the vasoconstriction, the amount of the blood that will be delivered to the heart and the skeletal muscles, you can just say like this, okay, that will be delivered to the heart and the skeletal muscles to be utilized for the emergency conditions like these things. Okay, now the next point of view we have to know, that we have to mention of course about the more beta 2 receptors. Now the beta 2 are present in our body in many places. Okay, now let's have a look regarding the beta 2. Now beta 2 that present within the, first of all, within the bronchus, beta 2 will act as a relaxer or relaxant. Okay, now the beta 2 is present within the bronchus, of course we know it, bronchus. They do present within the GIT. Within the bronchus they will just cause what? The bronchodilation, of course. Within the GIT, the less motility, GI motility will be less motility. So whenever there is like less motility, so less chances of causing the diarrhea. Okay, then they are also present within the bladder, and if they are present within the bladder, there will be like the what? Less amount of the urine outflow, like relaxation. Okay, they are also present within the glands, so less amount of less secretion. Okay, less secretion. You can understand from here, okay, because same thing, only the difference in between the cholinergic and them, there's like the sympathetic and parasympathetic, only the heart. Okay, other things are totally opposite here. Now the most important thing, they are present within the uterus also. Now the relaxations, whenever the uterus are relaxed, this condition is called, or this effect is called the the relaxation of the uterus. This effect is called is like the tocolytic effect. Tocolytic effect. Now whenever in case of the preterm labor, in case of, I'm just repeating again, preterm labor, in case of preterm labor, we need to use this type of the relaxants. Okay, we'll talk about these things in pregnancy, drugs of choice. Then we are having the blood vessels, of course. I did mention of it before also. In the blood vessels like the B2, there is presence of these things. Okay, they do also present within the skeletal muscles. The beta 2. Now within the skeletal muscles, they are also present. Now what's the main significance here? Now we have to know it also. See, whenever there is like too much of the skeletal muscles, so more amount of the blood flow, that will cause the tremors of the muscles. Whenever we are in hurry condition, we are worried about something, okay, and then we have the tremors. Now we will know about last thing, that is the liver. The function of beta 2 receptor, like this thing, beta 2 on the liver. Before understanding the function on the liver, we have to know about two conditions like the hypoglycemia and hyperglycemia. It's very, very important to know regarding hypoglycemia and hyperglycemia. Now see, it's very, very familiar, these two terms, hypoglycemia and hyperglycemia. Now, which of the following is like more dangerous? That is the more worse, the hypoglycemia. Because hyperglycemia, if we just see in our own experience, that we have seen many persons, many diabetic persons, they do have the diabetes. That means they do have the more amount of the blood glucose level, but they are not that much like for a long time they are not facing any problems. At a time, of course, they will definitely face the problem, but for a long time they don't face sometimes. Okay. Now in case of hypoglycemia, whenever there any conditions that is related with the hypoglycemic conditions, at that time the overstimulation of the sympathetic activity. In case of the hypoglycemia, overactivation of activation of sympathetic activity. Now whenever this activity is hyper, of course, at the time that will lead to activate the beta 1 receptors as well as the beta 2 receptors. And of course we all know it that on receptors, that is acetylcholine related with it, it's also included under the sympathetic, that is the thyroid glands, in case of the thyroid gland. Okay. Now whenever there will be overstimulation of the sympathetic activity, now we'll see in case of the beta 1, that will just lead to what? Ultimately the tachycardia. Now whenever there will be tachycardia, of course, along with it we can observe also within the patient there is like the palpitations. And what about the beta 2 receptors? We will see the tremors within the patients, of course. Along with this, we will see the patients too sweating too much. They will be sweating. Now these are the three core symptoms, we can say the most important symptoms to understand or to identify the patient hypoglycemic. Okay. So warnings, you can also write warning symptom of hypoglycemic. So just if from here we can also we can also comment on the conclusions. For suppose if any person is having the hypoglycemic, or any patient who is hypoglycemic patient, now we are not supposed to give them the beta blockers, because if we give them the beta blockers, then what will happen? This type of the symptoms will be not appeared. Okay, because they will just block the beta receptors. Okay, then this type of symptoms will not come. Only the sweating symptoms will come only. So this is the question. This question may come that which of the following symptoms will appear even after giving the beta blockers? In case of the hypoglycemic patients, that will be only the sweating out here. Okay. Now we'll do talk about the one more important thing, that is the drugs related thing. Okay. Now we all know it that like the parasympathetic, there were like the parasympathetic mimetics drugs and the lytic drugs. Mimetics means they will just stimulate, and mimetics, and the lytics means they will just inhibit in their function. So similarly, we can also differentiate like this: the sympathode. Okay, this is the sympathode. Mimetics or mimetics drugs. And the sympathomimetic, that means they will stimulate the receptors. Of course, there are basically two types, like the what we did read out in the muscarinic receptors also. Okay, like this, they will just do function in two process like that, directly and indirectly. Directly and indirectly. First, we'll talk about the indirectly, then we'll talk about the directly. Okay. Indirectly, we did just make a mention of it in the previous video, that for suppose from here, from the vesicles, the noradrenaline is coming, or norepinephrine we can say is coming out here. The receptors are here. Okay, and some of the noradrenaline, that they will just go back to the vesicles as the negative feedback like the hormones. Okay, now if we do use some drugs like the cocaine, I did mention of it before also, that if we use cocaine, then what will happen, we will see they will not let the noradrenaline to go back to the vesicles. As a result, the amount of the noradrenaline, norepinephrine, that will be more. Okay, so ultimately we can say the effect will be longer here. Okay, indirectly we can use here cocaine. So reuptake of, so what type of the thing here indirectly? First thing we can say that inhibition of reuptake of what? Norepinephrine. Okay, in this process we can also do the function indirectly. That means indirectly we are increasing the effect by inhibiting the noradrenaline to go to the vesicles again. Okay, that means by increasing the amount of the noradrenaline to have the longer or more stronger function, of course. Okay, now there is one more process that is called displacement method. Displacement method is the also basic concept. Now to understand the displacement method, we should have the very good concentration out here, otherwise you will not have the idea. What is the thing here, that this type of the drug we are using here, like these things, tyramine, of course many of you know it, tyramine. Okay, now see the concept here. First, suppose there is like the presynaptic membrane within this. Okay, the vesicle is here. Within the vesicles there are, I am just considering 100 molecules of norepinephrine. How much? 100 molecules of norepinephrine, and I am just giving the drug tyramine, and this drug is having the capacity to cross the blood-brain barrier. So of course it can go within the vesicles. Of course, not blood-brain barrier. I should just make it like this. It is having the capacity to go within the vesicles. Okay, now the tyramine, first of all I am giving 50 tyramines. Okay, now this 50 tyramines will go there, and it will have totally 150 molecules along with the norepinephrine and the tyramine. Now the vesicle is having the maximum capacity for 100 molecules. So what will happen? The vesicle will come here. After coming here, the vesicle will raise 50 molecules of norepinephrine. They will just come here, and they will do their action within the after binding with the receptors of the norepinephrine. Okay, that means we are giving the 50 molecules of the tyramine, that is going there, and within the vesicle now it is 150. But the vesicle is not having the such capacity to take the 150 molecules simultaneously. So it will do what? It will just come within the presynaptic membrane and it will fuse, and it will release more 50 molecules of the norepinephrine. Then it will do how much? Now 50, totally 100 molecules. Okay, because it is releasing 50 molecules. Again, if we just give the dose again, 50 molecules of the tyramine, now it has how much? 100. Okay, within the 100, 50 is tyramine and 50 is norepinephrine. Now if we give again more 50 molecules, then it will be totally again 150. Then again 50 molecules of the noradrenaline will be released. then after that it will just get bind with the receptors, then it will do its action. But within the vesicles, then there will be no what? There will be no tyramine. Why? Sorry, there will be no noradrenaline, because how much noradrenaline was here, that is had been released by earlier. Okay, now what will we see here? The second thing, that this tyramine will be again how much here? Totally 100. Now if we give again 50 molecules of the tyramine, now it will be how much? 150 molecules of the tyramine. Okay, now this out of 150, 50 tyramine will be again released, because the vesicle is having the capacity only for 100 molecules. That will come here, but it will not do any function, because the tyramine is not having the any receptors outside. Okay, now like the tyramine, we can use some of the drugs. Okay, like, similar like the tyramine, we have to know the name of the drugs out here. So first drug, that was tyramine. You can use the make mention of another other types of the drugs like the ephedrine. Ephedrine, then you can use the drugs like the pseudoephedrine. I'm writing E, it means pseudoephedrine. Okay, then of course as last we can use the drug of amphetamines. We need to have the concept regarding these 4 drugs and their uses, of course. So we just did make mention of the tyramine, no need to say it again. Okay, now we will know about the ephedrine and pseudoephedrine. Actually, these type of the drugs, they only except tyramine, they having like the mixed function. Whatever the mixed function, they will just do inhibit here, as well as they will activate where indirectly, like these things. Okay, they will activate also, but they will also inhibit. Okay, that's why they are having the mixed function. Now if we just talk about these 2 drugs like the what, the ephedrine and pseudoephedrine, they are used as the nasal decongestion. They are used in nasal, used as nasal decongestant. Okay, nasal the ephedrine and pseudoephedrine. Now you do have the drug that is amphetamine. That's very very important vital drug. Okay, the main thing is here that the amphetamine is having the capacity, it can cross the blood brain barrier, Okay, actually this drug is used in case of, there's a condition that is called narcolepsy. In case of the narcolepsy, where there is like the sleep attacks, that means the person's, this condition is like this: the person is driving, suddenly he gets sleepy. If the person is like walking, suddenly getting sleepy. Okay, this type of conditions, you can use the amphetamine drugs, because it will just go there and it will increase the it will be helpful in case of the sleep attacks. Okay, similarly we can use these drugs amphetamine in case of a condition that is called ADHD, especially in case of the children. ADHD, where it is attention deficient hyperactive disorder. I am repeating again, attention deficient hyperactive disorders. In this condition, we see there is a very very less concentration or attention. Just to increase the attention at the time, what we need to decrease the sleep here. Okay, and increase the concentration, attention. So amphetamine is used in case of ADHD and in case of also like the narcolepsy. Okay, and also one more thing I didn't mention, I should mention it here, that we are seeing here that the displacement method, by the displacement method, the tyramine is coming here and the norepinephrine is just released outside. Okay, this condition also known as the tachyphylaxis. Also very very important term, tachyphylaxis. Okay, tachyphylaxis in these conditions. So this all is all about the indirect method. Okay, now we'll just talk about the direct method. Okay, we'll talk about the direct method in the next subsequent videos. Okay guys, see you in the next videos.